podcast is brought to you by Live Again Recovery Homes. Live Again Recovery Homes is a rehab in Saugus, California. Look out for it. It's run by Pastor Juan. And by the way, if you're wondering how do I know this place, because when I was a crackhead back in the 90s, I was a graduate from there.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I was. They helped me out, and I was sober for 11 years, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you ever sobered up? You ever like try to quit anything?
Every once in a while, I was thinking of actually hitting up our sponsor for just a little short trip, maybe a nice tea break, if you will.
I don't know about this one, bro, because when I was there, they when you go on a field trip, they drug test you when you come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's the whole point of going on a field trip?
You know the best part of it being that rehab, when I was in rehab, Live Again Recovery Homes.
Thank you, Live Again.
If you want to send somebody over there, man, let me tell you, man, I don't know how I paid for the rehab, but they took me straight to a government office. I signed some papers. Then they were getting my welfare check somehow.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad they're still getting their checks. Thank God for
you know what happened was like if you had a job, they'll sign you up for disability, and disability will pay for the rehab.
Yeah, you know, man, I like that. I like when you take a good hustle and you turn it into something legitimate.
But sometimes also
like
people will come in there with nothing, and then they could stay there too.
Court mandated. Thank you.
There's a lot of
California.
court mandates, bro.
Lot of great job. Live well.
Yeah, man. Man, I don't know about these glasses, bro. I feel like Beast from X-Men.
I love those. What did you say when you first walked in?
I feel like a biker, bro, going to court. About to rat out all the other bikers.
Sometimes, dude, you nail it so hard. Like you're always doing those things where you can see other people, and that one when you walked in and said that, I fucking died, bro, because I've seen that, dude.
Like you're like a retired bouncer, bro, going in for back surgery.
Yeah, he's like super. You're all like, because he's coming to court, all heavy breathing into the mic. Hello, Your Honor. I'd like to talk about. I'm working now. I'm in a program. I'm doing good things. I have 2 kids, and I just got them back in my custody. So
I would hate to go through that.
Yeah, dude.
To go through rehab at this age.
Fuck no,
like
dude.
You know, and also like to be like, you know, be a successful comedian, or any or I think I'm successful, but
I think you're very successful.
Also,
I would say you're successful.
And the other comedians that we know, you know, our friends, I'm pretty sure it'll be hard for them to stop all this madness to go to rehab for 6 months.
No, dude, no, bro, I could not.
You would have to fucking grab them and lock them up.
Honestly, maybe that's why I don't.
But you know, other comic wants to do that to another comic.
Fuck no, bro.
Because they know, man, they need it.
You need to bro, that's probably why I don't get into drugs, is because I don't have time to do rehab. Like, I really wonder what stopped me from doing drugs, and I'm wondering if that was probably it. That I was just like, if I go any further, I got to take time out from this, and I don't have fucking time.
Fool. I was on a great podcast this week.
What podcast?
Neil Brennan's podcast.
Oh, nice.
It was like a therapy podcast.
Oh, really?
It's based on his Netflix special. Pick it up right there on Netflix.
Wait a minute. You were on I love Neil Brennan, dude.
I don't know when it comes out, his podcast, but it was talking about blockers. You know, like what blocks you from moving ahead, you know?
Oh, okay.
And what annoys you, stuff like that.
I love that shit.
I broke it down, bro, and then here it is, blocks podcast. Like, what are your blocks? You know, like what blocks you from moving ahead?
Oh,
you know, what are the things
his whole podcast is based off this?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
So I went on it, bro, and I was totally honest. At the end of the podcast, I gave that fool a hug.
No shit, dude.
Yeah, like real hug.
Do you think that it moved you forward somehow?
Yeah, I did, bro. I felt growth.
Really?
And I never feel growth.
What did you recognize, if you don't mind talking about it? Like,
the whole world, not me, and I am.
Okay. Oh wow. How? I don't. Okay.
Like he said, what blocks you? I don't want to spoil the podcast if you're gonna go listen, but
I fucking don't care
So,
what you say. I'm going to listen
so,
to it anyway. Jesus Christ.
We're talking about, well, one of my main blogs was drugs, of course.
Okay.
But then when that was done, you know, when that was no more, when drugs was the problem, what else blocks you? Me, I have the fear of meeting new people all at once, you know, and even if I bring somebody with me, I have a weird vibe, like, man, because I'm also feel like at this age, and I shouldn't be feeling this way, that I met enough people already.
I say that all the time. Rebecca has to be like, we're going to go meet new people today. I'm like, but I've already met enough people. I don't.
So I noticed that when I went to go do that show after midnight, I showed up with a mad face, I guess.
Right.
And the girl that was working with, a writer,
yeah,
she was nervous around me. She was like a generation millennial.
Yeah.
So she was scared of me, bro.
Uh-huh.
So Lisa said, "You made everybody uncomfortable at that place.
Oh my God.
You went there with a chip on your shoulder." But then I said,
"But you're not, though."
But then I said, I was hungry, first of all. I didn't want to do this. I was nervous.
Okay.
I might get a hemorrhoid after this. But then I turned around and I said, "Listen, man, you're just like my mom, man. You just can't let me enjoy my moment, huh?
Right? You can't let me be
without
grumpy.
you shitting on me." What's next? Also, you have bad breath. You can't read.
Right.
Whatever, man.
Right. Holy fuck.
So I didn't say all this on his podcast, but
right.
But then I said,
I'm so listening to this.
So then I said, and I was totally honest, and I said, another thing is this, man. I don't know if you go through this, but if you do, let me know. Netflix is a joke.
Okay.
I did it last year on the Orpheum.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Rodriguez, 2 sold out shows.
Right.
At the end of the festival, they put all the photos of everybody who did it. Nothing against all these comics, okay? But there was big pictures of comics who were doing rooms that had 100 people in it, and I checked.
Right.
It was not even full.
Right. No,
but there's big pictures of them.
Oh, we're all paying
promoting
attention.
them.
Yeah,
and,
we're all paying attention.
And everybody knows. And then there was other comics. Okay, nothing against Dave Chappelle. He deserves to be. If they were to put him only, I would say fuck yeah, because he's deserving of him. Only him.
Of course.
But then you got Scrubs.
Scrubs.
Nothing against them either. They should be. They should be in the limelight. But also, I should be too, eh?
Right.
But then I started going crazy, and then like his face got red. I said, "It never ends." And then he was telling me examples in his life, in his career right now.
Yes.
Where shit doesn't go for him, right?
Right.
Because he was telling me stuff about when he went to this big old gala premiere that he wrote the speech for the person that was going to be there.
Right.
Don't give that motherfucker +1.
Wow.
He couldn't even bring
this industry.
He couldn't even bring
this industry.
He couldn't even bring both his parents.
Right.
Or a lady.
Yeah.
And then another one was he was not excluded in on the credits, bro. And then some other bullshit. Well, anyways, long story short.
No, I like what you know.
What I said was
dude,
this. I said,
so good, dude.
I said, and then I tell myself, no, man, they got a millennial person working there, Generation Z from the Midwest, some white girl or white boy
sure.
who doesn't know shit,
right?
Who's trying to move up ahead,
right?
He put the guy in the wheelchair first.
Right.
But whatever.
Whatever,
man.
Sure, of course.
But he said like this, man, it never ends. But then he told me like this, you're a very successful comedian, though.
Absolutely.
And then I would hate to follow you. I'll be honest with you. I could give you a list of comedians that would hate to follow you, too.
Right.
But then, this is that type of podcast where you talk shit about other people who suck.
Sure, totally. It's what we do, though.
So he was telling me positive while throwing negative.
Bro, that is so fucking
I never been to therapy, but I never
right.
Nobody ever questioned my negativity,
yeah.
But it's all negativity that I'm throwing at myself.
Well, it's reflective.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, through my own therapy, and I was sharing this with Gabby Lamb this weekend. because she's in therapy. I'm in mindfulness therapy, and I practice mindfulness. One of the things that I've learned is that 90% of your negativity towards other people is reflective. So, like, when you're mad at someone, let's see, because they are doing well, or if you're mad at someone because they didn't deserve it, a lot of times you're like, well, I deserve it and I'm not getting it. And so I'm mad at them because they're getting it. Or when you're mad at someone who's doing something legitimate that nobody else knows is they're doing, like, you know, when someone's like fucking lying or making up bullshit or being fake, you know it because you've done it yourself. And so, like,
get out of here, bro.
That's the thing.
Your history.
Where are we going with this?
I know, bro.
But I do believe
I know.
it's reflective. I think about that.
So
I remember what a friend of ours got on TV a little early, and another friend of ours was really mad about it. And I was mad at first too, but I didn't know how to deal with it, so I just congratulated them, and it made me feel better.
So it's like, I don't know if you've ever been a big hater, and everybody is. Nobody admit it.
Bro, I'm a
But
big
alone,
hater.
when you're by yourself.
Yeah, all the time.
You would wake up in the morning and you just wake up in a bad mood.
Yeah.
You start shitting on fools.
Yes.
But you say like dumb shit. Like,
oh, bro,
like,
my thumbs go crazy.
Like, I don't ever, like there are so many positive messages, but you start looking for the negative ones.
Right.
Like somebody will say something, and then you go like this. Listen, motherfucker.
Right.
He goes, get your own podcast. You and your one subscribers.
Yes.
Who subscribed to your podcast?
Right.
Your mom? Mom, please press yes.
Right.
But then you hurt their feelings and you feel bad.
Well, I feel I'm one of those human beings. I realize I need to rub up against something. I need to be, there's something
You're a bear.
There's something I need to rage against.
You're a bear.
I'm a bear. And so I can't just go through the world peaceful Butch, making friends with everybody. And what I used to do is I would target fellow comedians and be like, this is so fake. You're just blah, blah, blah. And people
You
would be
leave
like,
Sean Dizzo
Butch,
alone.
you're fucking causing problems everywhere. So what I do, and this is such a fucking horrible thing. It's a confession time. I go and find shitty people on the internet and I troll them. And it feels, and then I get that like anger and hatred out of me in at least a direction that deserves it. You know, like, so I'll go find someone who's like, there's this one mom on Instagram who makes videos of herself making lunch for her kid.
Oh, yeah.
But you could tell it's really well done.
For her, yeah, it's a good lunch.
And so I said, this video is not for her kid, just so everybody knows. Because everybody's like, you're such a good mom. What an amazing parent. And I'm like, she's not doing this for her kid. She's doing this for these comments. And I start to get in a fight with all these ladies that are like, bullshit, it's just a 10-minute video. It's just a 20-second video. And I'm like, this takes an hour to make at least.
For
she
real.
didn't just put it together in the morning like the
There's
lunch.
this paisa lady.
Yeah.
That makes a bomb-ass lunch for my husband.
Oh, yes.
And there's a bomb-ass lunch, right? And I wrote, yeah, man, the best lunches are made with someone with a black eye, eh?
See, I do that all day
But you're
long.
going to be funny. But then
People
he
get so
goes,
mad.
fuck you, asshole.
Yeah, dude. No.
He goes, who are you? You know who I am? A guy who doesn't have someone make lunch for me like that.
I know. That's because that's.
This lady, dog.
Yeah, I wish I could be that.
She fucking got out a pan, and they show her ass making potatoes, right?
Yeah.
Cutting them up. She put chorizo, and then she made beans on the other one.
Yeah.
But she got pork lard and put pork lard with bacon.
Yeah,
and then she mixed up the beans and the cheese together.
Right.
Then she put eggs on them with potatoes, bro. Rolled them up.
Right.
Then a bagel with cream cheese, a donut, a yogurt, fucking a little salad, bro. Cheese sticks, a Gatorade, a snack pack, bro.
Oh, where's this guy going, dude? Is this guy gonna go fucking fight?
Bro, when I saw this meal, I was writing shit like, where's the guy? Is he gonna climb the fucking Mount Everest or what?
Dude, when that lady was doing,
He goes, I remember one time people were staring at me when I busted that out for me on an airplane. Eh?
Bro, yeah, I watch these because what's funny is that Instagram doesn't necessarily know that you're hating. So it sees that you're commenting and it's like, oh, so you like these videos? Here's more. And so it's just all these videos of these, and it's because it's mostly women making it for their husbands.
Yeah.
And some of them are just, there's like a pack of marshmallows with 2 PB&J, the packaged PB&J, the Smuckers ones, fucking like a thing of pork rinds, like a fucking something with like, just all shit, dude. Like, and it's like, people are like, this guy's gonna fucking blow up the fucking.
Man, you're gonna die, bro.
Portable. Yeah, you're killing your husband.
You're gonna die. I saw this one time in the video, and I said when it's my time to make lunch, and all you heard was like, you heard this dude in the kitchen, and you heard like this. He had like a spatula. He was going like this, but he was making lunch with his wife on the bottom when it's his turn to make something in the kitchen. That's all you heard, bro. And if I were to share that, bro, they would have canceled me. Like They canceled my subscription, bro.
Bro, that's so funny, dude. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I can't share certain things.
I did that podcast, and bro, I gave that fool a hug, bro. I never give about a hug.
I know.
And I closed my eyes like white people do.
Right.
So it was good.
You felt love when you did it.
Yeah, I felt therapeutic, bro.
Right.
I didn't feel like I conquered the world.
Right.
I'm pretty sure when I in 2 weeks I'll be back to normal again, like a real
but for
guy.
right now, you're feeling it though.
But yeah, man, when he said that it's never gonna end, and stuff like that.
Right.
And
well, I think
you gotta focus on the good, bro.
I don't know, man.
Good.
I feel like mentally you've come a long way as a human being. Like, I think we all learn. I think sometimes it comes with age. Sometimes it comes with like the people that surround you. And I mean, I see where you're at, dude. And that's mental growth is mental growth. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And then especially in a memorable moment like that,
Like everybody commented on how they like your new legs.
My legs.
Their new legs. Last week, you had like these wooden Pinocchio legs on.
I know. You know what, bro? I was hoping no one would
Bro,
notice.
you look right now like you could
God.
take those legs off and put different legs on.
I know, dude. Yeah. It's
like
weird
Joe
because if you go above my
Guy.
short line, where my shorts are, it gets hairier and hairier. And then my belly is like hairy.
It's like somebody threw dirt at you, bro.
Yeah.
Or ants.
But my
Doesn't match.
Yeah, my legs.
That's you, bro.
Melissa's back there trying to be fucking funny.
What's up, everybody? History for Foos.
What's up, History Foos?
Welcome to History for Foos as we continue the ending of the Mirage, the invention of Los Angeles.
Right, Mirage.
And I was thinking, bro, this, when I was talking to Lisa, how, and it's mentioned in the book, and Los Angeles, it's not built like any other city that we go to in other places.
No, dude.
Like if you somebody in the book mentioned that Los Angeles is built like a theme park.
Right. It is.
It is like a theme park. We got Chinatown, and we already spoke that Chinatown was made by a white guy that never been to Chinatown.
No. Yeah. And then
And then Overo Street too, right?
Let me just tell you, man.
Overo Street is the same, right? It's a little Mexican town.
I'm from the Bay Area. I moved here 5 months ago. Obviously, I've been here a bunch to work
norteño,
as a whoa, bro, whoa.
Can I say something before you finish, or I cut you off?
Sure.
When Butch Escobar was doing a show with us, I don't know where we were at, and all the comedians went up, and they went to mention that from the Bay, this cholo in the back said, "Órale, a norteño."
I know.
But we love everybody, bro. We love North,
everybody,
South,
bro. I
East.
got love. Hey, man. I got love for everybody.
Everybody
man.
wants to laugh.
I'm a positive vibe type person, dude. I see everybody as my brother. So whenever I call someone my brother, that means like that's how I feel. Anyway, so being from the Bay Area, which is also a very beautiful, gorgeous place to live, It's and then I've been here a few times, but bro, that's exactly when they guys said that in the book that it was like a theme park. It fucking hit me because it's like, if you drive down Sunset, like there's all this like structures and big monstrous things, and like the McDonald's has like a fucking UFO crashed into it and a dinosaur standing over it, and then the theater's like it looks like it does in the movies.
Is it real or fake?
La Brea Tar Pits, the fucking Santa Monica Pier, the Hollywood sign, the Griffith Observatory, Griffith Park there's a park inside Griffith Park.
These palm trees that were put here by someone else.
The palm
they don't grow here.
There's a park inside Griffith Park that I found that has a little creek running through Griffith Park, and it's got its own park. And I don't remember the name of it, but it's beautiful and it looks like a tropical creek. This place is like a larger, bigger version of Disneyland, because if you go to Disneyland, it has all these little facets to it. I mean, bro, if you go to Japantown, or what would you guys call what is it? Little Tokyo. There's little villages that look and feel like you're in fucking Japan. Little Thai town feels like what I would imagine somewhat, and it's like Koreatown, and all of them are themed, all of them, and then there's murals everywhere. This place is, and then it's like a weekend. It's a weekend every day. This place is a fucking weekend every day. It's overwhelming.
No other city like this, right?
Yeah.
Besides San Francisco, no other city like this.
No other city like this. I remember after I lived in Berkeley for a while, I moved in with my girlfriend in a little town called Concord for like a year. And it's like behind the Bay Area, very small town, very like just chill. And I couldn't stand it because I needed to be in a city. And it's funny now because I go home to do comedy and I'll stay with her. And it's like my brain takes a break from the fucking like just, and it's not madness because it's not crazy. That's the thing, is people think LA is crazy. It's not. It's actually a very chill vibe. People are actually really, really nice here. This place has taken like me by surprise so many ways, but it is overwhelming.
I'm bleeding.
It's overwhelming. Yeah, no, it wasn't like New York. New York was overwhelming and fucking violent. Like New York was the scary. Did I already tell that story? I told that story on here, right?
Yeah.
Bro, New York was just too much for Butch. It was like, this is too aggressive the way people are with each other. Because people would go, bro, you would love, your style of comedy and who you are would be great in New York. I like New York. Don't get me wrong, New York people. I love to visit, but Jesus Christ, that place is scary. Here, not so much, bro. I watched a lady, I went to go pick up weed at the good weed spot we go to, and you got to go through Skid Row, and I watched this large, heavy-set black woman, buck naked, doing erotic type aerobics in the middle of the road as cars were going by, and she did a full-on splits, bro. On the black, it was, and I go, I'm sad that this person's going through what the same people in New York are going through.
She used to be a Rockette dancer,
but she's doing her own thing. She's in her own world. The sun is shining. We're all happy in our own way.
She's happy.
Yeah, we're all happy in our own way.
That's what Los Angeles was built for.
Yeah.
To appear there's this happiness here.
Right.
While you're struggling to pay $3,000 for a single.
Hey, you struggle. But you struggling in paradise. And you really are, bro. Like, that's the funny thing is like, I get up in the morning and I don't live in the most hospitable environment, but, and I'm not complaining. I like where I live. But, it's a struggle. You got to go eat. It costs me this much. I got to pay fucking rent. Fuck, I got to fight some guy for my parking spot. And then I go pull up on Sunset to go work at the Improv. I'm not on Sunset, Melrose. On Melrose. But you can see the sun setting, and it's pink and orange and turquoise, and there's that fucking big pink building, and there's all these beautiful like iconic signs going down Melrose, and it's like for some reason even I'm at peace with how fucked up things are.
And everybody,
it's LA does that to you
from Hollywood Boulevard all the way to Melrose, Butch. If you're to walk from Highland, you're going to run into somebody that wants to be somebody, huh?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like,
Well, that's this town.
Any other street in the world, you can't do that, right?
This place is industry.
Everybody, right?
Everybody. Yeah.
Whether they're 55 or 75, they're still trying.
You know what I think about all the time, man, is like you go to you think of LA and you think of New York. Of course, it's part of the big cities, right? There's Paris, San Francisco, New York, LA, Chicago. Those are like considered A-list cities. But to me, man, I don't know there's anything like Los Angeles, because you go, well, it's just the movie industry. It's not the movie industry. There's tons of cottage industries around it, but the movie industry is how we formed our society over the last 60, 70 years, 80 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Once we started to be able to be influenced by things, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is how influential these first films were. But you can't, I'm sorry, man, you cannot go through this society and say that it was a light influence from Hollywood. Hollywood is the influence. Hollywood is the influence. We compare ourselves to movies all the time. We're now reenacting movies in real life. Like, and movies are becoming so real that how could you not? And then you have TikTok, YouTube, Instagram on top of it, and all those larger creators are living here as well. Yeah. So the significance, and when we go back to like last week for a little bit, you know, Mulholland didn't do what he did.
Yeah, because TikToks are basically what shorts were from back in the day.
Right, exactly. Holy shit.
You would have to pay a nickel to watch that little comedy.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is
it would have cost a nickel
to
watch that little TikTok video on a nickel.
Yeah, you go into this thing, and they had this thing's called kinetoscope is what they made it with, but you go in this thing, and you look in, and they have one at Disneyland, and then you pay a nickel, and then you roll the thing, and then it flaps this little, like, it does this little flap of like pictures. Yeah. And it's the first like version of what we had as rolling pictures, right? And so what's crazy to me, bro, is that at that time people were like, this is bullshit. This is just bullshit. This is never going to replace theater.
Yeah, well, here's something funny about movies and actors. There's an episode of Seinfeld when Kramer goes to Hollywood. Yeah. And he tries to be an actor, but they frame him for murder. Right. I remember that. But there's an old lady there that live in the apartment. He's an old lady. Uh-huh. And he goes, Cheryl, how are you? He goes, I haven't worked in 35 years. How do you think I feel? Kramer. She goes, oh, really? Yes, it was. I worked in a Three Stooges movie. Right. It was a sham.
That's here.
That's here.
That's real.
That's real.
That's a real situation.
You run into people like that
all the time.
Like you run into Fred Stoller.
Bro, one of my favorite things about working at the lab at the Improv is the amount of like these like older ladies. Like we have like a lot of shows for older folks sometimes in the early hours, like around 7. You'll see the older folks from Hollywood come out. And I'm not trying to knock anybody, you know, but you see these older ladies that are still glammed up, and I imagine what their careers were like, what they got to see, what they got to live through, you know, and some of them are really famous. Rodney Dangerfield's ex-wife comes through every once in a while and watches.
Hey, she's a hot 66-year-old.
Holy fuck, dude.
She's a hot 66-year-old.
She's still got it, you know what I mean? But like, I imagine, bro, what that person saw. Last night we had 2 older ladies. You could see that they were still trying to glam up, and they made fun of how old and stretched out their faces looked. It was funny because I had to card them. But I knew right away they were Hollywood women, that they had acting careers, that they had worked for a long time. I knew my wife
wanted me dead, man. During set, she was dressed up like an angel.
So yeah,
So Hollywood, and back in when last week we talked about the beginning of water here in 1900-something, but they were not making no movies in Los Angeles yet, right?
No, 1904 is when
all the movies were being shot in New York.
Yeah, right. All the movies were being shot in New York and Chicago, and the bigger cities then. And at the time, there was Edison invented a machine called the kinetoscope,
He had a union, right, for it?
He had a copyright over it. So
it's a monopoly, basically.
So
like,
he had a
like
monopoly
Microsoft,
over making movies. And so in order to make a movie with his kinetoscope, you needed to pay him a lot of money. And so
to use it, or
to able to use it and every time the movie,
you can't just buy it off.
Bro,
him?
Licensing was we think about Hollywood and
you
when
just
licensing,
can't buy it off Edison's
fuck
ass?
no, bro. You had to you bought it, but if you used it to make money with, you had to pay him money.
That's like some cocaine cartel shit.
It's like if you bought your Sony camera.
Yeah.
You know, the one that we would.
Yeah.
The camcorders, the first camcorders, and Sony was like, if you put any of those videos up and make money off of those, then you have to pay. Well, that's kind of what's happening now.
Like when you're a drug dealer, because like if I were to sell coke to somebody,
right,
I would sell the whole bag from him,
right,
and then when he slangs it, I will want half of it,
right. And that's kind of what Edison was doing, bro.
That's crazy.
But
charging per roll and print.
So there's two factors here that bring movies to Hollywood. So
weather
became one of them, but one of them originally, was the first reason. Was there was these two guys.
They were filmmakers from Chicago.
From Chicago, that's right.
They were making a Roman movie, right?
Yeah, they were
finishing a movie at the beach. Or
yeah, they were finishing a movie at the Burt. It's Francis Boggs, Thomas Pearson's. Were working for a company called Selig Polyscope.
Boggs, bro.
And they were working on the Count of Monte Cristo. And so
he died in 1911. This guy.
So this is around the time that they started.
1898, right? When he did this.
Yes, exactly. It's around 1898. Yes.
Yeah.
So, these guys roll up into Hollywood.
Nobody knows who they are.
Nobody knows who they are. And at the same time, films are transferring from those little things that you view to theaters now, and those are the ones that are becoming called Nickelodeons. So now everybody's just paying a nickel to come in, sit down in these little theater type things. And these guys are making one of the first films to be ever played in that. And they can't afford to bring the actors out, so they hire some jewelry guy, some stolen jewelry hawker who was an actor on the side. And they have him do a bunch of stuff. They film him for 2 days, and then they bounce.
Yeah, this actor, by the way, he was a theater actor in California and some jewelry guy. He also had a school for acting.
Right.
He was one of those actors that nowadays did everything.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Hobart Bosworth.
Hobart Bosworth.
Yeah.
They paid him $125
for 2 days of work.
For 2 days of work. And right there at that moment, because this guy was like theater.
That's like probably $1,000 today.
And then he said he was the first guy to sell out.
Yeah, he was, and he felt like he was selling out. And now when you look him up, if you go through his Wikipedia, he's like considered one of the founders of Hollywood. But at the time, he was like, dude, I'm selling out my fucking.
Here it is, man.
My life.
Hubert Van Zandt Bosworth. Was an American film actor, director, writer, and producer. Bosworth began his career in theater and eventually transitioning to the emerging film industry. Despite a battle with tuberculosis, he found success in silent films, establishing himself as a lead actor and pioneering in the industry in California. Big California, baby.
So when they explain this guy's situation, bro, he's like kind of pissed.
He was pissed. He didn't want to do it, right?
He rolls up to
I would never do this.
Right. And he rolls up to this shady stage. And he's like,
he was complaining about everything.
He's like, I don't even have the shoes. And they're like, we're not going to film you. We're going to film you from the knees up. So don't worry about it. And he's like, right next door. It's like behind a store in an empty lot. And next door, there's people like hanging up laundry and it's just flapping around. But they didn't have to worry about. I was thinking about this, man. Like how because it was so interesting just to watch something on film for people. And that was the novelty in it, was that you didn't go really for the storyline. You know, like, I think if you I've watched a few silent films, actually they weren't bad, but they are still kind of boring, you know, but at the time, you've never seen anything like that. you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? And so I think that, how easy it was to just like, let's make the scenario, film it. We don't need to have like acting voices. We don't need to have to be quiet on the set, and at the time he talks about the lighting because they didn't even have lighting. They were trying to fucking race the sun. And so
all they would do is put makeup on their faces for their face it won't be shiny. That's
right.
it.
That's it. A little bit of powder. That's why they look a little bleached out in every film. And so that was like the first makings. And so they come back and they report their findings, and so other people start to come out for the good weather. And I believe this part, the book alluded to that it was not as many, but I did look this up because I was really interested in it. So Edison hired his own group of investigators called Bulls to go find people who were using his machine without his permission. And they would they would like figure out who they were, go gather information, then take them to court and sue them. At the time, there's no real way to connect West Coast to East Coast. So a lot of would-be directors who are using that stuff are coming here so that they don't have to deal with Edison and his bullshit. And so that's what creates what a lot creates of what the start here in Hollywood. It's a combination of the weather and avoiding fucking Edison and his bullshit. So you have now people coming here and filming really, really short scenes, really small things. Nothing too big, nothing crazy. Anything between like 6 minutes to 12 minutes was figured to be a movie that you went and paid a nickel to go watch. And I think you would watch them in succession. And they would like print them out like 1, 2, 3 a week sometimes. So they were making really good money off of it, but it was still considered a novelty. And actors were shit on, bro. They were fucking so hated.
So when did but after those guys left, more people came, right? The guy who some guy what's his name? D.W. Griffith, Matt Sennett.
So D.W. Griffith,
Cecil
B. DeMille. Cecil B. DeMille came a little bit after D.W. Griffith, but D.W. Griffith didn't follow too far after.
He was before Charlie Chaplin or afterwards?
It was before. So D.W. Griffith started out as an actor. And he was like,
did you hear his story?
Okay. So he's a son of a Civil War colonel who died when he was 10, and after the Civil War ended, he was like a member of a family that owned slaves. So his father fought for the Confederacy, and
property owner.
After that shit fell apart, they lost all their slaves. Their house burned down. The colonel died, and Thundering Jake was the name of his dad.
D.W. Griffith.
There's D.W. Griffith. So he leaves home at 17 and he wants to become an actor. This time, man, actors are really kind of shitty people. They're like bums. Nobody really likes them.
He founded the United Artists Studio.
Yes. He's one of the founders of the UA.
Which is the USA Network, right? On cable.
Is it? I did not know that. So anyway, he starts becoming an actor. And he doesn't do too well. He wants to make films, but he feels like the only way that he could, or actually wants to write plays. And he feels like the only way he could do that is to be an actor. And then he gets suckered into acting on cameras. And then I think he does 2 times as an actor. And then they switch him over to making movies or they switch him over to being a director, which is still something he didn't want to do because at the time, directors were just people who wrangled. They didn't do anything except wrangle people and go, this is where you need to stand. That's all directors did. Cameramen did most of it.
During silent movies.
Moving
pictures.
Right. But there's a shift. And he gets with a guy. Do you remember the cameraman's name? What's the cameraman's name? I'm trying to remember the... Yeah, Billy Bates? Billy Bitzer. So thank you, Melissa. So he meets Billy Bitzer. So they go, we want you to direct a film. And so at the time, Billy Bitzer's one of the most like well-known cameramen in Hollywood. So he goes to, and mind you, Hollywood's only like 8, 9 years old at this time.
Bitzer, he came up with a lot of the stuff that people still use right now, huh?
Oh, bro.
His ideas, his way of filming. He's a.
I think it's like 4 elements or something like that.
For the equipment that he used back then, he got a lot of shit done, huh?
He got a lot of shit done.
He took W. Griffith and Bill Blitzer really took filming serious.
I feel like Billy Bitzer got robbed by D.W. Griffith.
Yeah, a lot of everything was taken was his idea and the other guy.
Right, and in a way, what I feel like happened is that D.W. Griffith stole the powers of a cameraman and gave it to himself as a director. And this is where you start to see directors, because Cecil B. DeMille is that cartoon director you see in WB with the fucking high boots and the fucking like kind of safari suit and the huge like and hey babe.
I thought that was D.W. Griffith.
That's actually fucking no. That's Cecil B. DeMille, because Cecil B.
with a fucking gun on your.
Yes, Cecil B. DeMille was more of an asshole than D.W. Griffith. And D.W. Griffith is a fucking asshole. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. Griffith goes to Bitzer and says, "Can you help me make this film?" Bitzer lines out how a story's supposed to be made, talks to him about close-ups and shit like that. And that's the thing, is people constantly mistaken D.W. Griffith as the inventor of the close-up. He is not the inventor of the close-up, but he mastered the close-up. D.W. Griffith actually didn't invent a lot of things that are in Hollywood right now that we use, but he's credited for pioneering them because he made them better. He found better ways to do things like close-ups and multiple sequence takes, and like, you know, things like parallel sequences where it's like right, kind of like what we're doing right now, where the camera's switching between me and Felipe. So
sorry,
that's all right. So like that's the thing, man, is that he, you know, like he just mastered a lot of that stuff. He took Bitzer's idea, and it wasn't his. Bitzer didn't work on this film with him yet, but he had one called Adventures of Dolly, I think it was called. Yeah. Was that the name of it?
I don't know. I was thinking about right now, if we could just go back a little bit.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
To this movie from 1902. It's called A Trip to the Moon by Molière. It's a French guy. And that's famous right there. Have you ever seen that?
We should talk about this, yes.
They shot that. They mentioned him briefly in a book, but this is a French film guy who makes actually like a first science fiction movie, and a rocket gets shot to the moon. And if you watch it on YouTube, it was also ahead of its time. That's what's gonna go down? Yeah, directed by George Méliès, inspired by Jules Verne's Around the Moon.
So we should say and note that filmmaking didn't come from the United States; it came from France.
Yeah, I don't know.
The first what?
Is that a fact?
That's a fact. Yeah, the first movie ever made was French. Look up first film ever made, and it's a 30. I think it's like a 4 or 5 second French film. And it's like, I can't remember, but it's like just a quick film ever made. Yeah, there you go.
It's funny how these movies.
The first.
Yeah, right there.
Louis Le Prince's Round Bay Garden scene. 2 seconds.
Louis Le Prince.
So this is the first time we ever seen anything like this. So yeah, it's the French. So yeah, I mean, and then I guess the first sequence film is this one right here, is the Trip to the Moon. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it. It's pretty fucking interesting. It's kind of creepy, to be honest with you.
It's funny how that movie right there is way ahead of its time, man. Even for 1902, bro. Like there was no such thing as, they weren't even thinking about building rockets, like it all just took a guy on acid, bro.
Yeah, that's true, dude. I never thought about the significance. It's hard to put your place in that time and space, but can you imagine how wild this idea is? Because we're watching it from our point of view, where we're like, we've already been to the moon.
So they're making movies in Hollywood.
Yeah.
D.W. Griffith, and but this is also the beginning of we live in a devil city.
Yeah, religion's starting to come around and go.
But how many people, bro, were already saying that this is not a place for dreams, a place for nightmares. But the bad rap, Hollywood's already starting to get a bad rap.
Starting to get a bad rap. But you know what I read in the book that kind of gave me a lot of faith in Hollywood? I don't know why. But they kept getting ahead of it. They kept writing their own rules so that they didn't get rules put upon them. Because it would get back to Congress, and Congress would talk about having a hearing over it.
We already have this censorship.
And then they would go, well, we're already censoring ourselves. We can't do any more flamboyant stuff, or we can't do more sexual scenes.
When everybody was making these moving pictures in the beginning,
Yeah.
people were taking so many ideas that there was no such thing as copyright back then.
No.
And everybody was touring everything up, bro.
For the first decade. For the first decade of filmmaking, it was like, oh, you're going to do a Civil War thing? I'm going to do a Civil War thing.
Send me the script.
And I'm going to, yeah, it was pretty much, bro.
How about when that guy sent that actor over there to find out what the movie's about?
Yes, dude. Spies, too. Spies, all kinds of shit, dude. Hollywood was like a fucking, like,
that's why they have a closed studio now.
Yeah. To this day, bro, you have to sign agreements to not. I did a fucking video for a hospital, like a promo video. They made me sign a thing saying I wasn't doing anything competing. Who's competing for a brochure? But that's his business, dude, because people will jack your shit.
So, D.W. Griffith is doing these moving pictures, and he's one of those first directors that's. Oh, when they say, "Oh, that director was he was horrible to work with," we were over budget with this guy. But I don't think you're gonna find a director that can direct a movie with the budget you're gonna give him.
No, they're always gonna push it up, right?
So, did you want to talk about Birth of a Nation?
Oh yes, dude. Because I have so many.
Besides being one of the greatest films ever for its time, but the message was not there, huh? The message was there. What am I saying?
I had a hard time because I was listening to it and I go, "Wait a minute." I had to listen to these chapters over and over again.
Have you seen the movie?
No, have you?
No, but they redid
I
it,
saw
though.
scenes from it and it looks awful, bro. Like, and even Billy Bitzer was like, "This is just pure like bullshit. Like this isn't a good thing." So The Birth of a Nation is D.W. Griffith's biggest film, and what he wanted to do is he wanted to push the envelope on what people could watch. At the time, people were only watching like tops 25 minutes worth of film.
The movie was about what's gonna happen in the South because so many liberal people are moving to the South.
Right. And it's about black people taking over this village of people.
That's
I mean,
what
it's not about
it,
but it has scenes where like these black people are like, they're kind of in charge.
And the KKK are the heroes.
And the KKK are the heroes, dude. And I had to go.
The Klansmen.
Bro, I don't know what the fuck. Why is it? I get that D.W. Griffith pioneered, and like after this movie was made, this changed movie making forever. Like, besides the fucking fact that this movie is disgusting what it's about, and bro, I watched interviews of black people who watched it, and it's so fucking, it's so sad. But all
the black actors are blackface, bro.
All the
White
main
people.
black actors had to be blackface. The background actors were black. There's this scene. I watched this old documentary on it from like the 60s where they try to make it seem like it was a good thing that his message was mistaken. And they're like, there's this, one of the main actors in the movie was like, you weren't there when he had all these black people dancing with bare feet in the dust. And we're all just enjoying watching them do it, and it's just like.
But there were blackface white people dancing.
It was the black.
Because there were no black people in the movie.
There was black extras in it.
Because I found out that he said that part of the book they asked him, why come there need black actors in the movie? Because I couldn't find any in California, and it would be too expensive to ship them out from New York.
Oh wow!
So everybody you see in that movie is blackface.
Look at that.
That's a white man right there.
Oh, I thought he had black extras in there.
Man,
Maybe it was a different one that he had black extras.
Remember in the battle scenes, how he will say that they'll show one guy being blackface, and then the next scene he'll wash his face and he's a Confederate.
Yes, and he's like the. That's right. Okay.
So that right there, man, that scene, he's about to go rape somebody.
Yeah. That is a fucking. It's crazy though.
But that movie.
Listen, I get that this guy pioneered stuff, and we can say what's weird is that we named parks after him,
Griffith Park.
Yes, because this was like propaganda. Like this what kicked off the KKK again.
Yeah.
The KKK was thought of as a dumb organization. It was considered silly. And everybody thought that they were just gone. And what this is, and I watched an interview where they were like, did you portray your father in this movie? Is that what's really going on? Is the main character about your father? And he's like, I don't think, I guess I guess it is about my dad.
The movie was supposed to be budgeted as for $40,000.
Right.
But and they gave that fool $25,000 to start off with, and in 2 weeks he needed another $25,000.
Right.
And he was totally over budget. The movie ended up costing over $100,000. If you could look up, $110,000. And he has his director to put in $7,000.
Right.
And there was a guy,
the cameraman.
There was a guy who invested. I think he invested $50,000. I don't know how much he invested. It could be $50,000. But
about Zucker.
But he quit his studio. It was Louis B. Mayer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Louis
that's right.
B. Mayer, who started MGM, right?
Right. Yeah.
He invested. He was making $2,000 a week, bro, from his investment.
And the brothers that were funding him didn't want to fund him anymore
because they didn't want to invest their money again.
Well, what happened was that he was working for a company called Biograph, and he was making like 30-minute videos, like maybe 25 to 30-minute videos for them. And
36 hours of film? Jesus Christ.
And he wanted to make more. More.
Film was expensive back then, Butch.
It was so expensive back then. So they said, no, we can't do it. And he left. And then these two brothers picked him up, and they said, you could work on your epic, but you need to make all these other movies for us. And
oversee them, too.
And oversee them. So he started to do that. He started to produce and direct as he was working on Birth of a Nation. And then at some point, they were like, it's too expensive. We've already allocated $40,000 to fucking Birth of a Nation. Go fuck yourself. So he started stealing shares of the movie and selling them off to people.
Yes.
Which, whoever bought into this...
Yeah, Louis B. Mayer, he bought one.
Right. Honestly, as shitty as this movie was in my mind and as awful as it was, this movie killed it in the box office.
It was the biggest box office hit ever. How much did it make?
And everybody who borrowed
people
money...
still watch it.
Everybody who he borrowed
people
money
watch it on Christmas in the South.
Yes, dude. They love... So weird.
That's white people blood in, blood out.
Fuck, bro. It is, dude. That's like some fucking rednecks blood in, blood out. But
Burst of a lame Holmes.
Remember that story about how Lillian Gish's mom wanted to give him $300 and he refused it because he didn't want to take money from her, and she would have made like $100,000.
Bro, 50 to
100 million at the time. 100 million is like $1 billion, dude. It's great. That's fucking disgusting money right there.
And the NAACP, they knew already about the author of the book, because originally the book was called The Klansman.
Right.
And they were protesting the movie, but a lot of the reviewers loved the movie, and they reviewed it as an epic movie, as something like one of the best films ever made as far as filming, lighting, and sound. I don't know about sound, but lighting. And none of those reviews mentioned how racist the movie was, even though there was people outside protesting.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it was crazy. And that was the thing, is what it did was he Alex Jones his way into
I'm gonna
fame.
watch it on 4th of July, see what happens.
I'll watch it because I just kind of interested.
The new one or the old one, the original one?
I'm gonna watch the original one because I want to I watched these interviews with these black people who watched it.
When did after Griffiths quit to go work with Mary Pickford, Charlie Chaplin, and they started their own Triangle Studios, which ended up being United Artists. Matt Sennett used to work for him, and then Matt Sennett was more of a comedy, and he's the one that he gave Charlie Chaplin his first break.
1910, Griffith moves his operation to L.A., and that's kind of when he started. He picks up Mary Pickford, Charlie Chaplin.
He loved her, huh?
And at the time he had
Remember
another
put her
wife,
makeup on?
Vivian something. I can't remember what her name is.
Vivian D. Vance.
Yeah, and I don't think that was her name. You're good though. You're slick. So he picks up all these guys and goes, "Hey, let's head to L.A. and let's do our own thing." And he comes to L.A. because at the time, still, the guys that funded those two brothers that helped funded Birth of a Nation. This is all happening in New York. He's filming over here quite often, but most of it's happening in New York. So now he's just like, fuck it, we're going to move our own operation here. We're going to have our own thing. And that happened in 1910. It was 2 years after Birth of a Nation.
Back then, there was a lot of studios out there. Like, so many studios were opening up in California.
Right.
But they already had the main ones, and the ones that are big now, back then, they consider them like the Skid Row studios.
Yeah.
Like Universal.
Right.
They were like nobody, right?
Universal was nobody, bro.
Warner Brothers was nobody.
Nobody, bro. They were just these small.
They were hated
like
on them.
tiny little one-room operations where they were just filming.
And then people say that, oh man, the Jews took over Hollywood. Let me tell you why that happened.
Here we go. Yeah.
When the Nickelodeons, the first Nickelodeon, like when you put your face in there and you put a nickel and you move it,
right?
That was considered like for poor people,
right?
Like anything like that was man,
degenerates.
Degenerates, because everybody that had feria, that had money, they were going to see big old operas on Broadway.
Yeah, they weren't
big old plays.
Movies were stupid.
They were stupid to them.
Yeah, you're dumb if you go watch a movie.
It was like eating you might as well eat a hamburger.
That's why actors were like kind of spit on.
You might as well eat a hamburger.
Yeah.
Bro.
Well, you remember reading that his mom exactly, bro. But you remember his mom was like, "We've done a lot of low things in our family, but you becoming an actor is the lowest thing you could be."
Fuck.
And and that's how they thought. Like they were like hookers and shit, dude. And
one of those studios that opened up, it was called Edendale, and which is Edendale Studios, where a lot of the Matt Sennett movies came out of, the Keystone Cops.
Right.
And that Edendale, if you want to know what Edendale is, there's a place called the Edendale Restaurant, and you can see some of the pictures we're talking about.
I didn't know this.
And this is in Silver Lake.
Okay.
Edendale is Silver Lake.
I will check that out, actually, man.
Also, man, did I ever take you to those stairs where they shot the Lauren Hardy movies when they're carrying that piano?
No.
It's over there.
I think when I first came out here, we took a drive around town and you showed me a bunch of different places. We might have gone by there. You showed me where they have silent film still made here. Showing.
At the same time when DW is coming around, his movies are not doing as well as Birth of a Nation after this.
No.
And people are introducing sound in movies.
Yeah, sound is starting to become it's not necessarily going to become a factor, but they're, and man, I thank God for the people who in this industry didn't give up with their inventions, because someone introduced sound originally. And what it was is that you play a record at the same time the movie started. And the record would have the voices and everything on it, but it would be playing behind, and the view would be in front, and people fucking hated that. People were like, "This is stupid," and sound was scoffed at. What's crazy is that at some point, sound was even like put in magnetically, like we have it now, into the tape, and people were still like, "This fucking sucks."
What they say, Butch? Sound is never gonna survive. Because you gotta send these films to another country. How are you gonna translate it?
Right. That was the other thing, is that there was like limiting, like, what's gonna happen when other countries? It's gonna limit the national market.
A lot of these films, by the way, before sound, like they were called moving pictures, and then they switched to talkies, which became later on motion pictures.
Right.
But
interesting. Yeah, that's right.
But what D.W. Griffith was doing and what Buster Keaton was doing as far as film was, they were limiting the amount of description of the scene.
Right.
Because every time you watch an old movie that was a talking movie, the moving picture, silent movie, there would be like a description, and the robber showed up and said
Right in
this.
between, yeah.
Yeah, and then the scene will start.
Sure.
So DW was trying to show you more film
and less verbiage.
Right. And then he was moving the camera closer to you and having two scenes shot at once.
Right.
Because everybody was shooting one scene at once.
Right.
Bro.
Yeah, he was the one who did the parallel
and he'll
scenes.
make parallels.
Right. And then he also did the moving, like you said, mentioned earlier, where he would move with the train or with something,
and then he'll do something like
panning.
Like there's a woman here, she's tied up to the train, and you're seeing that. And then like on another scene, you will see the good guy on his way.
Right.
They were not showing that before.
Right.
Before it was just one shot, and then the next scene would be the cowboy coming to the rescue, and then you would never see the woman back on the train track. But what DW was doing was, here's the lady on the train track. He
was brilliant at building suspense.
Right. And then they'll show the guy on the horse.
Right.
Then they show the lady back on the train track. Then the guy on the horse.
Right.
So he's building a dramatic scene.
Building the suspense,
A build-up, bro. Nobody was building build-up before that.
I watched this one video. I wish I remember the name of it now. Because what sparked my interest was that there's these two girls that came. One of them was Lillian Gish and her sister. And they came to visit their friend, Miriam Pickford?
Yeah.
And DW liked them. And so he pops out of a fucking closet with a gun and starts chasing him around and shooting in the air. And they're like really panicked and like genuinely scared. And he goes, I love how you guys just did that. I want to hire you to come work for us. Here's like a big offer. And so he would do shit like that. And so it triggered me into watching their first film that they did with him. And it was about a family and this man, and he was going to go to the store or do something. And so he leaves, and he even gives her a gun just in case something happens. And the whole time there's these robbers watching the house. He takes off. They go to break into the house. She's fighting him off. The husband calls to check in. She's like, they're coming. They're trying to break in. He's like, use the gun. There's no bullets in the gun because they got it emptied by the robbers. There's this whole thing. It's a setup, and it's fucking actually really good. It's really interesting. I can't remember the name of it, though. But if you look up D.W. Griffith's like movies, it'll pop up. But they're really a good idea of how we even build suspense now. How slowly you build suspense.
Because the first film was just like one train on the first film people saw.
Yes,
it was
the
like
Great Train Robbery.
The Great Train Robbery, and when the train was coming at the people, everybody ran. They never seen shit like that.
Right? Yeah, dude. That's the thing is people freak
That's like
out.
everybody watching the first porno, and they duck when they see the jizz coming.
Well, because you've never. Because you've never seen anything like this before.
You never seen like that.
Yeah, and this is coming to places where people are like, for the first time ever.
And these movies were like really short, huh?
Really short.
But,
back then, they were like a minute, 2 minutes.
But what's the name? DW started like cut to another scenes.
Right, and then his started to become 15, 20 minutes. And then they got up to a half hour. And then he really wanted to push the envelope. And he wanted to make like larger full-length features, which are 120 minutes.
When they introduced sound in movies, the movie that has sound, they were more like a news coverage first, huh? Hey, this blah 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 blah.
Right.
And then
it was cutscenes to
then the silent movie will start. How
right, it was like narratives,
little by little.
Yeah,
huh?
Absolutely. And so it was like, because that was the only way they would introduce sound because people were not having it with sound.
You know the Three Stooges movies?
Yes.
They were one of the first. They came after. They were one of the first talking movies, right? They were 1930.
Were they?
They were 1933, right?
Did we read that when we first? We
Three
did.
Stooges were 1933. They would they were short. They were all shorts. They never shot a full length movie.
Oh,
so,
I didn't know that.
So in order for for a theater to show the Three Stooges, they would have to take their shitty full length movie with them.
That's right. That's right. I do remember going over that when we did comedy, right?
But did you mention? You remember that part where I don't know if it's D.W. Griffith or Cecil DeMille, one of these directors, told one of the actresses her dog died just to get her cry.
Oh, her
for the
mom.
scene.
Her mom died. He was trying to get her to cry, and he comes in the room. I watched the lady describe this in another documentary. He comes in the room and he goes, I'm so sorry to have to give you this news, but I figured I would be the first person to give it to you. Your mom has passed away. And she breaks down and starts crying, and then he films her crying. And he's like, we got it. We're good. Thanks. Your mom didn't die, by the way.
With the introducing of sound in movies, it changed the industry forever. And it's never going to turn around. Like, so people really thought that bringing sound into movies was something that's not going to happen or it's going to come and go.
Right.
A lot of the big studios decided not to go with it, but some of the ones that people were hating on, like Universal and Warner's,
Right.
they were the first ones to jump on it.
Yeah, because it was there was a market for it, and it was big enough for them for their small budgets. Like, they knew if they made just one, there'd be enough people to cover it. You know, whereas like larger studios were like, that's just a gamble. We're not in the business to break even. We're in the business to like make lots of money. So a lot of these guys just needed to survive. So they were doing talkies to just survive.
A lot of the actors who were in the silent movies, they couldn't move on to talking movies because of their accent.
Because their accents, or they had. So this is what I read.
Or they had horrible voices.
They had horrible voices, and that was some of them. But
or they couldn't sing.
A lot of it was just what the guy said as well was people who were just stubborn, who were like, "Fuck that! I'm not gonna do talkies."
I am a professional.
They were like this. Yeah,
movie picture actor.
Yeah, they were like Hobart. They were like a later version of Hobart, where they were like,
who's Hobart?
The guy that didn't want to become a movie actor because he thought he'd sell out of being in theaters. And they were kind of like, I'm not gonna do fucking talkies because that's lame. I'm a real actor who acts in real movies. And so like it's, dude, it blows my mind because that was one of the things that blew my mind most about this was like, wait a minute, you didn't want sound in your fucking movies? Because to me, like, that makes, dude, I love going to the movies and listening to.
Did you see that
the
first comedy talkie movie was that comedian, and he's singing.
Yes, I've seen it.
What's his name? They showed it in Goodfellas real quick.
Yeah, dude, it's so weird.
Oh, what's his name, man?
The Whistler.
The Whistler.
I can't remember, but I remember.
But it's a Jewish comedian.
Is it?
But remember when everybody saw it and it was successful?
Right.
Everybody was paying to see it, but some of the critics were saying, "Well, the movie just shows what a great act this guy is."
Right, and that's the thing is
but
that,
dude, it's the whole movie sound though.
It's the sound.
They were trying to ignore the sound, huh?
And if you talk to any content creator, I don't know if Melissa, you could back me up on this. Like I think that a lot of guys will tell you that your quality of your video is not as important as the quality of your sound, right? You could and I could show you proof over and over again. This is a good example of the beginning of this, but you can see to this day, any good video on YouTube, shitty background, kind of fuzzy. But if the sound is there, the sound is there. Sound is so important. And that's what makes me fucking, like, this surprises me the most, that people just didn't want sound in their movies.
I'm trying to think of that actor, bro. He used to be blackface.
Oh!
And he does something.
Yes, dude.
We talked about him.
We talked about him in
History of Comedy.
In History of Comedy, and I remember that when I read it too, and I wish that I had wrote it down, but I was, fuck, dude.
Al
Jolson, yes.
Al Jolson. He did the first one of the first.
I fucking hate this guy.
The first comedy.
Yeah,
it was sound.
Right. Yeah, dude.
Right there.
The Al Jolson whistling or something. Yeah, dude. Fuck this guy, dude. Jesus Christ, dude.
But that song, "Hello, Mammy."
Yeah.
Play it.
Dude, the WB Warner Brothers cartoons make fun of this all the time.
Hopefully they'll. Estape. What's crazy about this movie is that there's just say he's playing a black guy in the movie, right?
Right.
What's crazy is that
how is this?
How crazy is that movie is, first of all, it's already fake.
Right.
Because there was no way two white people just wave at him.
No, bro. I'm out of here.
Especially that old, you know?
Bro, that's fucking dude. Oh my God, bro. Fucking.
Would you ever blackface, bro?
What?
Would you ever blackface?
Fuck no. Bro, even when Soul Man came out, I knew it was wrong. I remember like my mom like taking me to go see that shit. And she was like, this is just some white people shit.
Rodrigo told me that he went to a party, he blackface.
No. I would never, bro. Like, would you?
No.
Like, even back in the day, bro, when we were supposedly didn't know better.
I didn't know any better. I just wouldn't want to.
Of course, Rodrigo would show up in blackface. We have to get a picture
of
that.
There was this bar at the Red Lion Tavern, and they had like all the years of their Halloween parties, and then you could tell like how times changed.
Oh my God!
In one
bro.
of them,
yeah,
there's a white dude and a white chick, and they're dressed like black farmers. They're both like this.
I think I seen that picture, bro. That's nuts to me, bro.
I think that guy ran for president.
Well, there's the president of Canada who did blackface.
Yeah,
he did brownface.
But it was for STTB, Second City.
Was it really?
I don't know.
No. In closing, no, I would not fucking ever do blackface ever. Like, not at no point in my life.
I was doing a show one time where the comedian was hosting, and she was imitating a bunch of people, and then she imitated Wanda Sykes and blackface.
No.
But everybody, it was such a good impersonation, nobody cared.
Well, bro, we had blackface all the way up until Ted Danson did it. And then it kind of...
They was dating Whoopi Goldberg, bro. Everybody more upset that he looked better than her.
Do you remember that, bro? People got so mad at that.
But it was funny that Howard Stern made a sketch about it, and they hate Howard Stern more for doing the sketch about a guy who did blackface.
Right. Yeah, society.
This is how the world is.
Dude. Oh, God, dude.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what's crazier is that he did blackface or he was banging Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't know. Whoopi Goldberg was very attractive back then. But dude, that is shameful, dog.
Bro.
That's like Lisa showing up to an award show with me dressed like Frida Kahlo with a unibrow, bro.
Oh my!
And she has a little basket and she's handing out tacos to everybody.
I know where Rebecca's fucking Halloween costume is gonna be next year. That's for sure.
She's gonna be a Viking, bro. She's gonna be a woman dressed up like she's picking cotton, bro. But she's getting succulents.
Dude, I'm gonna have my girlfriend dressed like Frida Kahlo, and I'm gonna dress like a Nazi.
I'm gonna dress up, bro, like a border agent, bro.
How does it feel? Oh my God, that's fucking so funny, dude.
Man, the people who were not involved in the movie industry, they didn't take the movie industry seriously, huh? As far as investing in it. And by the time they got in it, it was too late for real big money investors.
Right.
Because it was the game was already made, huh?
Well, a lot of big movie companies like I can't remember the name that he just started with.
Some of the Adolf Zucker.
Yeah, so those
he started Paramount, right?
Right, Paramount stood, but I'm talking about the old big ones that fell because they didn't want to get involved in sound. And Paramount, Zucker was like going with the times.
Yeah.
Adolf Zucker was like another person that is a big founder. You know, that's the thing, man, is like, I feel like...
a distributor.
Bro, I feel like D.W. Griffith stole the glory from all these people. Like his cameraman, like people like Adolf Zucker, people who actually really made... And to this day, bro, when you look up like D.W. Griffith or when you look up who started Hollywood or any of that, he pops up. And it's like, dude, I don't feel like Griffith gets the credit he deserves. I feel like he stole a lot from people. And he made a lot of excuses, and he just got a hold. It's like when YouTube first started, bro. the first 20, 30 videos that pop up are going to get millions of views because no one's ever seen anything like that. And I think Griffith was taking advantage. Same with fucking Cecil B. DeMille. I think you have two assholes taking advantage of all these people that are the real makers of this place. And to be honest with you, now that I think about it, fucking hasn't changed. Has it?
Also this is like you're gonna trip out on this. When these movies were being made, the movie will be like this: Birth of a Nation, D.W. Griffith film. There was no starring anybody.
No, that's the other thing, bro. Holy shit.
We were talking about,
bro.
And you know how mad I was about not being on that fucking flyer, dog.
When I read that, I was like, how the fuck? Yeah, dude, I get so mad,
You have to
bro.
fight for that.
Bro.
And, bro.
They would not, because they didn't want to lose the actors and the money that they were paying them, so they wouldn't put the credits of who was in their movies.
And then the actors who are not named, they were getting so famous, they'll be like this. Oh, it's ladder guy.
Right, or the curly-haired girl.
It's the elevator guy again. Yay!
Yeah, dude.
Isn't that crazy?
It's the curly-haired girl from the Biograph movies.
If you were doing a movie, if you were on a play
right.
in Broadway, your name would be on the fucking flyer.
Absolutely, bro. I get mad if you don't put my name in your fucking Instagram.
If you're on a Broadway, I'll tag you next time. Hey man, Ryan, put him in the reel. Anyway, so yeah, dude, like these actors were getting famous, and this is before they were not even on the.
No,
like if you go like this, Birth of a Nation. Who was the star of the movie? Who? I don't know.
Who? And like
Clan.
That was the thing, is that they didn't for the longest time, and then it was when they started, like, they'd have to investigate who was in the movie, and then they'd steal that person from them.
Oh, that's another thing, bro. Now they knew how to grab them.
They knew how to grab them and take them.
How about when they took Charlie Chaplin from that studio and paid him not to work?
Yes, because he was. That's right. There's what company was it that took Charlie Chaplin from Paramount? Was it Paramount that they took him from?
They took him from.
Anyway, he was so effective in movies that they hired him to not. This one company hired him to do, slated him for like 10 or 15 movies.
He did 2-3 scenes and the movie does well.
Right. And then they were like, well, we don't have any real movies to put him in right now. And the guy was like, still keep him as on payroll, because him not doing movies is still better for us. Because he was selling so many movies that he did. He was so famous.
Was Mary Pickford the first actor to be to be credited in a movie? Who was the first actor to be credited in a movie?
I can't remember, and I listened to it last night, and it was
because that actor that got paid $125, he was not credited.
No, he was not. He was not. We had to find out who he was later. So who was the first celebrity like film? I would say just look up who was the first movie celebrity. I think it was Florence Lawrence. That is
Lawrence, bro.
Yeah, it was. It totally. I read this. I was rereading the notes last night.
Florence Lawrence. There she is. She's pretty.
Yeah,
bro.
so she was the first one to get credit in a movie, and this is the birth of the first celebrity right here.
For the first celebrity. Wow. And when as far as being a celebrity, these movies were changing the game, because first of all,
they were changing the world.
There were no televisions. There was no magazine that would tell you what to wear this season.
Right.
So they would see Florence in a movie, and everybody wanted those clothes.
Yes. Yeah.
They wanted those clothes.
Or they would see what she used in like the kitchen, and they would want to use that.
Just like in Birth of a Nation, when the South saw that movie, they wanted to buy white sheets just like that.
They did. They really, bro, that really did happen though. What's crazy to me is that the KKK exists modernly because of Birth of a Nation, because of fucking D.W. Griffith. It's and like, I mean, everybody was like, "Don't make this film, bro." Like, it's not.
They were telling him, "Don't make this film.
Don't make this fucking film," and he did. And in a way, man, I don't know if it would. You know, we talked about time travel and stuff. Would film if he didn't make Birth of a Nation, because the movies that we watch now are in full length simply because of that movie. Before that, there was no long form movies.
It would have been like one. It would have been. They would have never cut to another scene.
No, and in fact, after he did that, they were like, "Cool. Now that you did that, please don't do it anymore." And it wasn't until that he made money that
Yes.
they were like, wait a minute, let's do more of these. But
Please not do that anymore.
they were like, yeah, let's get this. They were like, let him get it out of his system, watch it flop, so we could go back to making short films again.
Hey, how about when DW couldn't get no more work? The big studios hired him just to fucking tell him how to direct.
Yeah, like as a consultant. Yeah.
And then they didn't want him to go over budget.
Right.
And then he'll go into it. Man, they ended up firing him.
Oh, that's right. It's where he had to be fit. He was like, I hate this, dude. Like,
I hate this because they were telling him to make the movie at 70,000 and he couldn't go over.
right.
Because there was always somebody watching
And he was
him.
fucked. He needed the money.
Because
Yeah.
now, even though like most directors now and every director out there, whether you're around Scorsese, you always wanting to do films your way, independent. But when studios come in, they're gonna tell you how to do the movie.
I don't think people understand how I think we have an idea of how the movie business works as a public in general. I think me and you have a better idea because we work in the industry. And I think also just because we talk to people, someone writes out a movie, and I know personally a movie writer, and he'll write out the movie and then he submits it and they go, this is great. Thank you. And then they go, you can be on this team of other people who are going to write. And so you have to watch your baby go to fucking 5 other people, get hatched up into different parts, redone and put back together, and then put up. And you go, well, I was a part of that movie. And the whole goal for that is to make enough money, because I know what this person's doing that I know is that I believe what he's doing is he's saving up so he could do his own stuff. So you could, like, the goal is to do your own stuff. And it's kind of how we are in comedy as well. It's like my goal one day is to have my own hour, to have my own tour. But right now I got to be on tour with you, and I got to I got to work and do all this other stuff. And that's the goal. But I think in movies it's a little bit more involved, because you have to give I don't have to give my product to Felipe and let him like tear it up and go, well, here's what you're going to do on stage. But in Hollywood, they have to do that. And then at some point you get to make your own movie. And that's what Scorsese, that's what those other guys did. But it took them forever to get to that point.
Yeah, imagine doing stand-up comedy during those times, bro. Oh, my God. If I was a comedian, I'd be like, oh, man, I just got off working on a D.W. Griffith movie, man. Haven't got word since. Yeah, man. People really think I'm blackface. I went from blackface to being blacklisted. Have you guys heard of the new movies? Hello? Have you heard of these new movies called Talkies? They're going to add sound. Have you guys heard of these movies? They're going to add sound. Yeah, man. I remember the old days, man. When we would just put a nickel and watch a film and eat a popcorn and just watch people just like us only walking around.
Oh, I could imagine the stand-up back then. Yeah, I would be good.
Yeah, man. Did you hear about this new thing called movies? That were supposed to replace boredom?
Fuck.
Have you guys, I know it's 1909, but have you guys heard of this thing called FUN? It seems pronounced fun.
Honestly, bro, that's how, going through all we've done in History for Fools, I really think that's how it started, because anything that was fun was of the devil.
Yes. Also, man, these studios were opening up movie theaters all over California to put up their films. And one of those studios that loaned DW a lot of money, he went like this, man, I'll give you money, but you got to do the premiere in my movie theater.
Right.
And also,
well, that's how Fox started.
Also, man, DW Griffith. Oh, you guys think you hate promoting yourself? There was no internet. DW Griffith had to go with his movie to a lot of movie theaters,
right,
to show the movie.
Well, one of the problems that they were having, because the movie that he did after Birth of a Nation was Intolerance. And the problem with Intolerance is because Intolerance was deemed a huge failure. And numbers-wise, Intolerance wasn't a huge failure. The problem is that they couldn't afford the orchestra that went along with the movie, because they would have to have an orchestra that went along with the movie and followed the movie wherever it went. So it wasn't like now where it's like, hey, this movie's coming out and it's going to be in theaters on Monday. It was like this movie's
It's a silent movie, right?
Yeah, this movie's going to be in this theater this week. It's going to be in that. It's like it's like a concert tour. So he had to have what's called an accompaniment with the movie. And for Intolerance, the accompaniment or whatever you fucking call it, was too expensive.
Because most of these movies, man, there will be a guy playing a piano and showing the movie, or the orchestra will be there backing up the sound for the action films.
Right.
Which I know what you're talking about, bro, because my uncle went to go see DW in Mexico, and they had a mariachi band playing all the background.
Get the fuck out of
so
here.
So it was all different and shit. Like I'm used to hearing.
I don't know if I believe this.
I'm used to hearing the sound of the Klan taking over the town with bam 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 bam. But in Mexico it was like na 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 bam 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 bam. It just changed. It was the whole vibe, bro. Changed the whole vibe. There's so many people. I'll think about it, man. Why you're asking yourself? Why is movies when a movie is very successful? Why do people keep going to the movies? Because like we were talking about in the beginning of last week, how William Mulholland was building an aqueduct here in California to bring water into Los Angeles. That means there were so many people with money,
right?
Nothing to do with it. Hey, bro, there was a lot of workers with money,
right?
So there was enough people to go see movies in California.
At the same time, when we're talking about water, Los Angeles, the beginning of the 1900 era, 1904, and we've been talking about the Chinese Exclusionary Act, Chinese food. When you think about all that we've been talking about in that realm, it's disposable income that is actually the main factor here. Because before, Americans didn't have a disposable income. We made just enough, just like the rest of the world did. At one point, the whole world struggled from week to week for its money. What we're talking about at the beginning of the 19th century are two things. We have the Age of Enlightenment, which is allowing people to go and do things like have fun and not feel like they're going to go to hell for it. And you have a disposable income. And so with those two things combined, you have the birth of a lot of things. I talked to this guy over the weekend, and I'm going to share more information. But this guy pointed out three things that created capitalism in America. And it was like these basically sporting events. He was like, if it wasn't for these things, we wouldn't have started going out. We wouldn't have started. So I'm going to look more into that. But he did have a good point that disposable income was a major factor in how we're living our lives today. And why we have all this entertainment and why. Because again, you were living just to survive.
So in the end, D.W. Griffith, he couldn't make the change to talkies, huh?
No, he tried.
And a lot of people couldn't, huh?
Cecil B. DeMille did, though.
Also, did you see remember the part where they said that once a movie went to sound, some of the directors couldn't set up a scene or write a movie for sound.
Yeah, it was a whole different world. It was a whole different world. I mean, before, you got to think about it, man. It was like we could literally do a really great, excellent silent movie in this room with the equipment that we have. Right. And, and it didn't take much. There's not a lot of direction. Us with the little knowledge that we do have about the movie industry, we could make a great silent film. But now try to make a movie that we're watching even in the 60s. We're not going to be able to do that. You can't just recreate that here. Even go back to the 50s and the 40s. You cannot recreate a talkie in just a small room with shit flapping on the side or the noise in the background. We're buried all the way back here in your studio where nobody could hear us, because now we have to have sound. Now sound's a big fucking deal, bro.
Can't hear you.
Did you hear about the movies?
History for Fools, man. Jeff Fun, man, learning that shit.
Fuck yeah, dude. That book was great. Check it out. The Mirage.
By Garrick.
Let me get the real name, dude.
Get the real name.
We do this guy some justice, because excellent book. Few parts were a little slow. The Mirage Factory.
Go follow him on Twitter. Tell him that we talked about him, man.
Yeah, please do that for us.
Tell him on Instagram, man, that we're gonna.
Maybe we'll have him as a guest.
End up reading more of his book. His book was very insightful.
The Mirage Factory: Illusions, Imagination, and the Invention of Los Angeles by Gary Christ.
dude. There was a lot of people in the book that we didn't mention, like, but we'll mention her real quick. At the same time that the movies are being made here in Los Angeles, it was also the age of evangelism.
Yeah, that's the third
Like,
thing that this book covers.
There was a woman who came here to California because she woke up in a dream.
Amy Semple McPherson,
who was a pretty much a preacher who was speaking to people and built quite a following. And she had a dream, and she said, "Move to California, and I will build you a church." And as soon as she went to California, she started speaking in Echo Park. Somebody in the audience gave her the money to build her big church, and her big church still sits right now at the Angeles.
I gotta go check that out.
The Angeles Center right there.
Have you been inside of it?
Yeah, it's huge, dog.
It's huge.
And this lady right here, pretty much, she was one of the first people to preach on the radio in Los Angeles, and she was about to be preached on television before she passed away.
I'm not gonna give it away because I would like people to read this book.
But she's a very also
her story is actually really gets good at the end. It's really interesting.
She was she never jumped into too many politics. She never chose one side.
She actually seemed like pure of heart.
She had 5,000 people come see her every Sunday and Saturday.
Right. Yeah.
And she also, man, when the neighborhood was changing, she helped a lot of Latinos in the neighborhood, and actor Anthony Quinn, he used to translate for her sermons in Spanish.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's
bro.
Great. Wow. Oh, that's right. It says that in the book.
And that's one thing about Los Angeles, man. Like you I know a lot. If you might not like Los Angeles because of politics, because maybe you heard about chomos, and all that. But that's every city, bro. Every city has their bad people. But one thing about Los Angeles is that once you're a part of this cult, you're trying to be somebody or you're trying to jump in, you'll meet great people here, man. Like,
you meet great.
When Butch said, "I'm gonna move here," he goes, "You know what? I gotta hook him up with somebody who lives in Los Angeles, who loves Los Angeles, and who knows a lot of people, who knows a lot of actors."
Yeah.
And I hooked up with Tanya Estrada.
Tanya Estrada, dude.
Tanya
Tanya Estrada.
She used to be in a punk band, bro, with the mayor of Back to the Future.
Oh, really? No shit. Oh, I think she mentioned that to me. Yeah.
Yeah, she used to sell merch for
Goldie Wilson,
for that punk actor, that punk rock guy.
Yeah, man.
Morrison or
I don't remember his name. Mayor Goldie Wilson was the name of the guy in the movie.
That guy Marilyn Manson, whatever her name.
Oh, you're talking Marilyn Manson.
She used to work for him too.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
But when I hooked you up, you're like, what? Hey, man, it was crazy. Butch moved to Los Angeles. He goes, "Man, I got nothing to do." I said, "Here's my friend. Hit her up, Tanya Estrada." Next thing you know, this motherfucker's a movie premiere.
like hours later.
And that's Hollywood.
Like hours later on my first day in Hollywood, and my first day in LA.
I went to a movie premiere once, and I had like three extra tickets. I had a +1 with Lisa. Plus they had 2 more. They gave me +4, +3.
Nice.
So I was chilling, and a fan recognized me, a regular fan,
right,
at a movie premiere right there on fucking West Hollywood. And he was like this model girl, bro, like way out of his league. So I said, "Bro, what are you doing tonight? Here's 2 tickets, bro. You're invited to the premiere." And he walked the red carpet with me, bro. And he got invited to the after party. Dude. And that, bro, I made him feel like Rudy Valentino, bro. Like Charlie Chaplin, like a big shot, bro. Because, bro, imagine you're there with a chick who just moved to Hollywood.
Right.
And you're trying to be she's trying to be an actress, and he's a big pimp. And all of a sudden, he gets her in a premiere, bro. All his lies came to reality. And that's what Hollywood is, a big old lie turned into a reality.
I'll say this. I will say this. People say that people here are fake. They're not. They're not. People are genuine, and they love you. People do look out for themselves because we're all working to be something. But people are playing.
I'll tell you
people are playing a role here, and I love that.
Yes, they are playing roles.
But the other thing I must remind Because a lot of comics would go,
Yeah.
they don't go there, it's fake, bro. No, bro.
Yeah.
This place is the pinnacle of creation, and the creative vibes here
Yeah.
are really strong, man.
And you also got to learn how to read people's highs and buys here.
Right.
Like if somebody tells you buy, that means they really mean buy. But if they tell you buy, they're telling you to fuck off. Or if somebody tells you, what's
get a lot of
up,
those.
fool? What's up, man? But if you get a high, they don't like you, man.
Yeah. Hey.
Like somebody goes, hey, hi.
Right.
They don't like you, man.
People will show you love when they love you out here, and it's
Yeah,
really,
and if you meet a fake person in Los Angeles, ask them where they're originally from, and they're probably from Wisconsin or somewhere, like somewhere in the Midwest.
yeah,
And nothing against Wisconsin, nothing but love. You guys stay over there. Every time I go over there, you guys are all nice, but sometimes you get some freaks who you guys hate in Wisconsin, who think they're too good for Wisconsin,
right.
and they move to LA and they realize LA's too big for them.
It's way too big.
They miss that cheese.
Yeah.
They're at home. You know, man, LA's tough if you have no money, man.
It's so tough, but but you should come here with no money. You should come here. I feel like,
That's the worst advice I ever heard.
nah,
bro.
man. I really I came not like no money,
This ain't 1909, bro.
not no money, but come here and feel the burn for a moment. Don't come here with because I think the mistake is, and it's the same mistake I made. I need to come here with a lot of money, and at some point it was like, bro, you're getting old. You just better get out there. And I came here. You have to suffer for your art. That's all I'm gonna say. Suffer for your art. It will pay off.
Bro, the more I read about the movie making and learning about it, it makes me want to make movies, bro, or be in movies.
Let's make silent films, bro. Let's bring it back.
But actually, bro, you have to overexpress shit, huh?
You have to, bro.
Like if you were wrong,
Yeah.
you're wrong in a silent movie is,
Right.
and you look stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to really convey, because I watched like 2 or 3 silent films while we were in Greensboro. And
I saw one too.
I had to there were parts where I was like, what the fuck's happening right here? Like, I don't think I understand the nuance of this.
I saw the Charlie
expression.
Chaplin one with a little kid.
How was it? I didn't,
Oh my God. I saw this hilarious one, bro, where Charlie Chaplin, he's trying to eat at a restaurant and they don't want to let him in.
Okay.
And he's eating for free, and everything he uses is a prop. Like that, he uses a little cane to take that to put his hat off, and he puts it back on.
Okay.
And then when he turns around, his fucking cane lifted somebody's skirt by accident, and when he turns around this way, man, it's all like Jackie Chan moves.
Did you find it entertaining?
I did, bro.
Really?
But it's not like I'm pretty sure, bro. Like if I never seen anything before,
Right.
I've never seen a movie.
It would be.
I never seen a picture.
Yeah.
I would think that this guy's the greatest comedian of all time, which he was at that time.
Totally.
Which I don't understand. Where people shouldn't compare comedians of one time to another time.
No, you can't do that. I'm
Because
sorry.
if you say Eddie Murphy was the greatest comedian of all time,
Right.
when Delirious came out, he was the greatest comedian of all time. When Trading Places come out,
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop, the one where the fucking Dr. Doolittle, yeah, yes.
I remember one time hanging out with a bunch of people that didn't do comedy. They were like, it was like this hip hop magazine, and they go, "Who's the greatest comic of all time?" I just said my favorite comic. I didn't say Richard Pryor.
What'd
and
you
they
say?
Lost their minds, bro. And I was like, I
You
don't.
say Greg Giraldo or
No, I said Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.?
Because I was like, he's funnier than Richard Pryor to me. People got so mad, but it was like, I grew up in fucking 1990.
One time I was hanging out, bro, was a bunch of comics. I said, who's your favorite comedian? I looked him straight in the eye and I said, Al Jolson.
And then I smeared shoe polish on my face.
Then I wiped my shoe polish off my face. And I said, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Man,
Man, but man, dude, I always think about like One day we'll get into like deep into it and think about like who this side is. Let's sell popcorn this motherfucker.
Right. How did the theater snacks come along?
Because you know, man,
and why did they start jacking
that's
us?
that's not a high society thing.
No.
I'm pretty sure at these operas, these theaters, ain't nobody saying
There was no eating fucking popcorn at the fucking. Even now, you can't get popcorn at the opera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the movie theaters, because since like lower class, we're gonna sell these motherfuckers some hot dogs. Bro, I remember, bro. Fuck yeah, bro. Like, I don't know who made this up, but that's the worst thing to eat, bro. But I'll eat all the time.
What?
Jalapeno and nachos.
Fuck
at a movie theater, bro. You're getting heartburn and shit.
Fuck yeah.
You're fucking Jason is stabbing somebody and you're heartburn. He's stabbing your ass.
It's the real experience.
What's the most you're eating at a movie theater?
Nachos, 2 hot dogs, slice of pizza, and 2 buckets of popcorn. And it was the first time I remember that.
Was this a food challenge or what?
No, I was just hungry, bro. It was the first time I got high at the movies.
Because of the financial difficulties of 1930, the owners of movie theaters looked for new streams of revenue. Popcorn remained America's favorite snack, in part because it was cheap to produce and stack on. It wasn't long until movie theaters started selling popcorn themselves in 1930.
Well, there you go. We don't have to do an episode now. Thanks, man.
Awesome, man. But me, dog, I brought in a fat ass burrito from Pollo Loco, bro.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Bro, it was a Pollo Loco, dog.
Remember?
And a menudo cup and a Coke can.
Bro, remember the Baghdad Theater in Portland?
Yes.
You could buy food from the fucking restaurants out front and bring it in. And it had its own brewery. And this is before movie theaters. Movie theaters are just now starting to let people do that shit. But like, bro, I remember how fucking rad I thought that was, that you could bring more than just popcorn.
So now that we talked about movies and how movies started, you think the movie industry, I know the movie industry ain't dead, but the actual going to the movies, you think that's dying out?
No, but I think the amount of theaters will get smaller, which I'm okay with, and going to the movies will be a novelty again.
Do you think that?
And I think that's great because you're not going to get the same fucking. Unless you're rich, you're not going to get the same experience.
Do you think that the movies that are gonna be available at movie theaters are all gonna be major big productions like Marvel movies, and now we're not gonna see any more of the artsy fartsy movies?
No, that'll never end, bro. People still make shitty independent movies. It'll never end, bro. Just like you will not get fucking weirdos to leave open mic comedy. You're still gonna have fucking weirdos who think that they can make films.
Listen, man, don't you ever mention Johnny Steele ever again.
You're gonna have those. No,
actually, they're doing those comics. Wilson is making a comeback. He's doing a benefit show. I don't know if it already passed. Your boy Ron Durst. What's his name?
Ron. I don't know.
He was a comic. He did a tour with Johnny Steele and Murr. Brett Ernst, no. Fred Durst.
Fred Durst. Yeah, Fred Durst.
Fred Durst and Johnny Steele are doing a show, like a benefit show somewhere in Frisco.
Yeah, that's right. Fred Durst is back. He was out for a while. Hey, man, if anybody sees Fred,
he knows you, right?
I love Fred, dude. Fred was one of the biggest reasons why I moved here. Or not one of the biggest reasons, but one time Fred told me, he goes, you got to go to LA. He's all, I chose not to, and I got stuck here. And Fred, but always, man, Fred was one of those guys. Robin Williams was one of those guys too, and I got to experience that a little bit before he died. When they knew you and they would come in behind you in the theater or whatever you were doing, and they'd squeeze your shoulder and look at you and go, hey, how's it going? I fucking loved that shit, bro, to this day.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, I'm glad to see you out there, Fred. Good shit, man.
History for Foos. Also, man, go read up on that woman.
Amy McPherson.
Man. And one day We're gonna break.
That's a really interesting story,
When we
you
do a
guys.
whole evangelistical thing about
Yeah,
it.
if you guys,
we'll bring
if
her up.
anybody reads that book and wants us to talk about Amy McPherson, because that story, at first we laughed because I was like, it started out kind of boring,
Snoozers,
but it became one of the most interesting stories.
Very interesting.
Scandalous, because it might be one of the first Hollywood big scandals.
Because think about it, people. She's a woman bringing in speaking the gospel of God. And setting up her she started her own church
in the early 1900s.
The Four Square Church.
Yeah.
And she was one of the people that started. She started the oh man, this guy had he was blind, but now he can see.
Right. Yeah.
She made it into a business.
That's right. She did all that curing stuff too, or the healing thing. Yeah.
History for Fools with Butch Escobar and Felipe Esparza.
I'll see you guys
next time.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening.
Los Angeles, baby.
Fuck yeah, dude.